Alright, shalom, brothers and sisters. Sorry for the issues, the technical issues that seem to only occur when we're trying to do class. But if you're getting these, breaks in the thing, then we apologize, and we're gonna go ahead and answer your questions as long as they're there. But it's 8 o'clock, so what we're gonna do is hold your questions, and hopefully we won't have the same difficulties Friday, and we'll go ahead and answer your questions there. All right. For those of y'all that got your questions answered, hopefully that was sufficient. But we're gonna get into the class, which is how to be a mighty man. Alright?
Con. Shalom. So today we're going to be going over this class about how to be a mighty man and what made David's mighty men mighty and what made David mighty. Everybody looks at the physical. Everyone looks at the physical attributes of the things that David was doing. Whether it was bending bows of steel or killing 10,000 men with his bare hands. Everybody looks at that physical and everybody wants to attain to that. But we fail to realize and look at what type of spirit was David rolling in. What type of man was he? There's two scriptures that say that he was a man after the Most High's heart. So we got to go and look at what made David this mighty man, and the 30 brothers that he had rolling with him, the 30 plus brothers, that what made them mighty. So where we gonna go? First scripture we're gonna hit. What is it? Ecclesiastes 10:1?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 1.
And the reason why we go here, because the scripture is gonna tell us, as a leader, is how the people that you lead are going to be. The way you are as a leader is how the people that you lead, this is how they're going to come off.
And another reason why I like this class so much, or what made us think about this class, is because, he's a really powerful brother, individual to follow as far as an example of trying to achieve being mighty, right? Because when you come in as a Hebrew Israelite, and you're getting cut down and cursed and belittled your whole life, right? As soon as you're born, your skin is your sin, right? So we're cursed from the day we're born until the day we die. We don't have anything to look forward to. We don't have any type of hope and dreams except the falsehood that America perpetuates every single day, right? So we gotta look at this. We got to look at this story and see the attributes of these mighty men, as well as David, as something that's achievable. That's something tangible, but not just carnally, but spiritually as well. All right.
Go ahead and read that. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself.
So as the judge of the people is himself. So David, being a king, he was the judge of his people. He was the leader of his people. He's the one that set the tone for his people. Go ahead.
So are his officers.
So it's just like, you got to see, it's just like America. The way the president is, so are the officers. The way this country has been for years and years. The racism that they perpetuate, it starts at the top. And it goes right on down to the police officers that kill you in the street. They set the bar high up at the top. This is what we're going to do. Whatever it is. To kill blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Whatever it is. This is what we're going to do. We're going to start it from the top, and it's going to just trickle on down. Y'all see what we're saying? So as a leader of his people so are his officers. So we're dealing with David. David was like the scriptures say, a man after the Most High's own heart, right? We get that in Acts. We get that actually. That's in Acts. Just so we because we're quoting it, but I want to make sure that we get it. That's in Acts. Find that one for me.
Gotcha, bro.
Where it said that David was man after the Most High's own heart. It's like Acts 22. Okay, yeah. Acts 13 and 22. So if David was a man after the Most High's heart, obviously he was teaching the people under him to be the same. Right? As a leader, as a judge is, so is his officers. So we go to this scripture first to show that there's going to be different attributes about David that also his mighty men possessed and had. Where you at?
Acts chapter 13 and verse 22.
Read that.
And when he had removed him, he raised up them David to be their king.
When he had removed him, it was talking about when Saul was removed out of power. When Saul was no longer the king, they raised up David. Go ahead.
To whom also he gave testimony.
Read.
And said, I have found David, the son of Jesse.
So David, the son of Jesse. Go ahead.
A man after mine own heart.
Yeah, the Most High said he was a man after his own heart. You gotta really be in there. The Most High saying you're a man after my own heart. You're a man after my own thinking. You would do things and carry out things and execute things the way I would do it. That's some high praise. You gotta really think about that. Nobody else really got that type of praise from the Most High as far as saying you're a man after my own thinking. You think the way I would do things. You execute the way it should be done, the proper way. So we got to see if David was this type of man. He wasn't just going to roll with some bums. He just wasn't going to roll with some old rebellious dudes that wanted to do things out of order and do things their way. They were going to have some order, some structure. They were going to have the same humility, the same patience. They were going to have all these different attributes that David possessed. Y'all understand? Go to
the brothers bring it up about the mighty men, David's mighty men, because we just read David was a man after the Most High's own heart, his own mind, right? Okay, well, go to Amos 3 and 3. What does Amos chapter 3 verse 3 tell you?
Amos chapter 3 verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
So he had these 30 mighty men. Why? Why were they his close personal guard? Why were they his right hand men and things like that? Because they agreed in him. They had the same mindset as him. Alright, so the brothers we're gonna read about, they're mighty men based off of what? They were the same mind state as David. Alright? They had the same mindset approaching things and approaching situations as David would have. Okay? Alright, so it says, can two walk together lest they be agreed? If David had the mind of the Most High, if he was a man after the Most High's own mind, then obviously these mighty men were men after the Most High's own mind. Alright? You deal with there's a lot of these brothers, man. There's 30 of them. All right, well, you deal with people like Uriah the Hittite, right? And I don't know if y'all were going into him, but you deal with Uriah the Hittite. David was trying to set him up, and it was like, dude, I'm trying to set this guy up, and he don't want to let me set him up. Too righteous, right? Go home and lay with your wife. You slept in the gate. He's like, nah, my men are out in the field. It wouldn't be right if I went home and slept with my woman. Like, man, I'm trying to cover up the fact that I impregnated your woman. You too damn righteous, man. I got to wipe you out now. You see that? So, we got to understand this about David's mighty men is they were men like him. They were men that thought like him and had his same manner of righteousness. So, whether they, say Uriah was an actual Hittite or Uriah was Israelite dwelling in the Hittite land, the man still had the mind state of David, who had the mind state of the Most High. Y'all see that? He had that righteous mind state. Go ahead.
Right. So, and speaking of the mind state, that's a beautiful point. We got to go and we got to look and we got to check the character of David. We got to check and see what was David's mind state. I mean, we could go through all these Psalms, and we know his mind state. He was focused on the Most High at all times. But there was certain attributes that, you know, when you think about David, he had a fervent love for the Most High. He had this. It was almost like he was missing like his best friend. He had this love and this want to be with the Most High and to serve the Most High. So, give me Psalms. Give me Psalm chapter 84 and verse 2. Psalms 84 and verse 2. Just on going through a few characteristics of David to see what was his character and what was the character that he rolled in, and the men around him, what did they roll in? Where you at?
Psalm chapter 84 verse 2.
Read that.
My soul longeth, even fainted for the courts of the Lord.
You see that? David was said, my soul longeth. He said his soul faints for the Most High. He was getting weak that he wanted to be with the Most High so bad. He was just like, man. He wasn't giving up and getting weak. Right. But that's how he was. It was this longing pain. You see that? Because that was that fervent love that he had for the Most High. And that's what kept David strong through a lot of the things that he was going through. When he was getting chased around by Saul for 8 years, then Absalom. I mean, think about it. If you don't have an ultimate power on your side that you believe in, that you have faith in, you're going to fall weak to whatever. Right? So read on.
Even fainted for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cried out for the living God.
You see that? His heart and his. So David was in the spirit, but he knew the spirit, the body, the flesh, it don't mean nothing. But he said, even my spirit and my flesh are longing for the Most High. That's how much he wanted to deal with the Most High and serve the Most High. He said, my spirit and my flesh, all of me. He was able to put himself in position and in the mind state to know all of me. It's not just a spiritual thing. It's not just a physical thing. All of me, my total being. Y'all understand? Go to Psalm 63 and verse 1. Get a little bit more. We just check. So we're doing like a character reference check on David. Because the scripture said, as a judge is, so is his officers. So we got to see David being this judge, this righteous man. We want to see how, if David was this way, obviously if two can walk, how can two walk together? At least they be agreed. His men had to roll this way. Where you at?
Psalms chapter 63 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Oh God, thou art my God.
Read.
Early will I seek thee.
See, David was on trying to seek the Most High early. He didn't say, I'm going to seek you when I want, or I'm going to wait till I'm 50 years old, or I'm going to wait till I'm on my deathbed. David was dealing with the Most High from an early age. He was dealing in that righteous spirit. Even when he slew Goliath, you think he wasn't in the spirit then? You think he wasn't in the grace of the Most High and in the spirit? Yeah, because he had that boldness about him. When he came up and he said, who's this filthy Philistine, this uncircumcised Philistine? That's basically blaspheming the Most High. It's a 15-year-old kid. Like 15-year-old kid. More bold and more austere and have more balls than these grown men that were around him. And his older brothers. He was more ferocious than all these cats. But there was things that he had in his spirit, and he knew what he was dealing with. He knew what he had on his side. Read that again.
Oh God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee.
You see that? Early was David seeking the Most High. So if he was seeking the Most High early, he had to have been showing his men, listen, this is what you got to do. To be this mighty man, to be able to kill 300 men in one stand. Because that's what his men were doing, to be able to, Benaiah, he slew two lion like, get that right?
30, or verse 20.
Think about it, to do what Benaiah did. Hey man, you got cats out here nowadays, man, they see a pit bull and they run off scared. a little old dog, and they running off scared. So to slay two lion-like men, you gotta have something on your side, man. You gotta have something in your mind that's saying, hey, there is no fear. The Most High didn't give us a spirit of fear, right? Where you at, Ray?
2 Samuel, chapter 23,
Verse 20.
verse 20. Come. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabazel, who had done many acts, he slew two lion-like men.
He did what?
He slew two lion-like men of Moab.
Think about it. When it says a man is lion-like, he had the look and the strength. Yeah, it wasn't just like he looked like a lion. Nah, this dude was strong like a lion. These dudes that he killed were strong men.
And it didn't say just one of them.
And it wasn't just one.
He did two. Now let's take that to a spiritual aspect. We just got done talking about Jacob, right? How he got his name changed. What did he go through to get his name changed?
He wrestled with the angel.
He wrestled with an angel. He's showing an act of valor. He's showing an act of not letting go until you get blessed, right? So Benaiah, he's in this hole. He's in this pit, and he's fighting two lion-like men. They're bold. They're austere. They're aggressive. Have you ever watched a lion fight? We was watching on YouTube. We were watching a video of a lion versus a tiger, right? And what happened was that the tiger, it was real aggressive. These are two most vicious beasts that are land creatures, right? Land-based creatures, and they're fighting. But the tiger, he goes up the hill and he's just out of breath. He's like, because the tigers, they're high in agility, so they can climb better. But the lion, he's waiting at the bottom of the pit, just pacing back and forth, looking up at him. Tiger's looking down like, oh, crap, here I go, right? So then he goes down, boom, they keep wrestling again. The tiger can't penetrate the lion's mane. So he's fighting on the side of his belly like pawing because he's getting tired. And that lion just keeps boom, 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 attacking, right? That's just one. Now this man is going against two men of that same characteristics.
And remember this, it's not saying that all 30 of David's mighty men were with him. Like Balworm had brought that point out. You said something like that a couple of classes ago. That it wasn't just, Oh yeah, we had a meeting actually. But it wasn't all 30 of these men fighting these two men. It was one man. This one mighty man by himself. This is what he was doing. Read on, finish where you at?
Come. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow.
Yeah, so he had to have obviously the physical capabilities to do it, but more importantly, he had to have this spiritual capability about him.
Right. That's the point. Of saying that he did it by himself. It didn't take. He wasn't a man that had to, or that whooped these two lion-like men of Moab because he had 30 cats behind him cheering him on. Right? He wasn't one of those guys that like, oh, all of a sudden I got a spine and I can talk stuff because I got 30 niggas behind me. Right? No, this man did that on his own. You understand? So this was the mindset of them that, you know what, in order to stand up to certain spirits or stand up to certain carnal aspects of life, I'm not gonna have to have a whole bunch of people behind me in order for me to have some courage. Y'all see that? So in the spirit, we gotta know that we can't be men that, we gotta have other people with us in order for us to have courage. Or we gotta have other people with us in order for us to have faith. Y'all see that? And I just want to throw this in, man, because before you go into these other stories of these men that are doing these so-called carnal things, right?
Right.
Because I know y'all hitting the spiritual mindset that these men must have had, right? But we got to know this, is that they were in carnal war, right? They were in war with their hands. They would literally, somebody's gonna kill me, so I gotta go kill them. Right? Fight or flight. Well, we gotta know this, that we're in the same type of war today. Alright? But a lot of brothers and sisters ain't taking that seriously, like we are in that type of war. Well, you are. You're in the same type of war. So get 2 Corinthians 10.
Oh yeah, it was on. Definitely get that.
Oh, you was in that?
Right now, yep.
Oh.
Yeah, right. You're right on point with it, yes. Yes, sir.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. Oh.
10 verse. Yeah, you can
Yes,
start
sir.
verse 3.
Come on. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3.
I didn't call it, but we was gonna go there definitely next. And this is the thing, just like Priest Alwyn was saying. Yeah, they were in carnal wars at these times. We don't have to go out and fight carnally. But even though they were in their carnal wars, they still had to have certain things in their mind spiritually. Because you think about it. The scriptures say don't take a coward to war, right? Why?
Because their spirit fall off on the other person.
Right. Or he get you killed. Who's gonna be there to defend your back? This coward, you bring him to war, and he starts seeing blood and guts everywhere. He gonna dip off. That's one less man to help you fight the battle. So these men, even though they were in carnal battle, they still had to have a spirit about them of the Most High. They still had to understand, and you can read it. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. You can read that.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
See, they were walking in the flesh, and at that time they were definitely warring. They were warring. They were warring in the flesh, but they also were in the spirit, because they were seeing blood and guts. You slay 300 men. If you a weak-minded ass dude, what's going to happen? You kill your first victim, and then you like, damn, I can't do this no more. All of a sudden, you just catch PTSD on the battlefield. You see what I'm saying? So these brothers, they had to have a strong foundation in their mind. They had to be girded up in their mind. Their mind had to be on something other than I'm cutting cats' heads off.
Right.
They had to know what they were doing it for and why. So they read it again.
For though we walk in the flesh,
so they walked in the flesh. Go ahead.
We do not war after the flesh.
Go ahead.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
See, the weapons of their warfare at that time, they were carnal, but they had that spiritual mindset. David always had a spiritual mindset. Even though he was killing 10,000 men with his bare hands and leaping walls and bending bows of steel, he always had the Most High in reference. He always knew that it wasn't about the carnal. He always knew that. David always knew that. How did David know that? Somebody give me a scripture. How did David know that it wasn't about the carnal, but it was about the spirit regardless?
With David blood when he called the Most High to guide his hand?
No. It's a good try.
He didn't kill Saul because that was Most High's anointed.
That's a good answer. But go to where you at. Go to Psalms. This is one of our favorite scriptures. Go to Psalms chapter 51 and 17.
Psalms chapter 51 verse 17. The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit.
Go read up to verse 16.
Verse 16. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it.
David said, look, I know you don't desire sacrifice, else I go kill 100 bullock and 100 ram and put them on the altar for you. He said, you don't desire that carnality, else I'd give it. Go ahead.
Though delight is not in burnt offering, the sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit.
Right.
A broken and a contrite heart.
So see, David knew that, and this is why he was called a man after the Most High's heart. Because he knew what the Most High wanted. He didn't want the carnal. He wanted the spirit. He wanted that broken mind. That repentant mind. He didn't want the 50 bullock and the 1,000 sheep. That's not what the Most High was after. And David understood these things. So it was shown that he was always in a spiritual mindset. Even like you said, when he could have killed Saul, but he said it wasn't right for him to put his hands on the Most High's anointed. He understood humility. That's a spiritual aspect, right? That's a fruit of the spirit. He understood humility, patience, and see, and these are the things that we're touching on. David's thought process, his love for the Most High. These are all spiritual. Even with all the carnal things that David did, he was always steadfast in the spirit. Jump back to Corinthians.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to the pulling down of strongholds.
So we got might and we got strength and we got power through who?
The Most High.
Through the what?
The Most High.
Through the Most High. And with the Most High, we pull down these strongholds. We pulled down the strongholds, and back then it was the strongholds of the enemy. It was the strongholds of those who would war and go against Israel. But now we have to make war against these spiritual entities that hold us against our power, our true nature, our true might. That's what we have to realize. This is what David was realizing. Read.
Verse 5, casting down imagination.
So now we're strongly casting down imaginations. How do you cast down an imagination strongly? How do you do that in a mighty form? Go back, hold that. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 17 and jump down to verse 32. 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 32.
1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 32.
Okay, go ahead. Read
and
that.
David said to Saul.
Did y'all all get it?
Go ahead.
And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him.
See, he's telling Saul that remember, this is when David was a kid, around 15 years old, right? He said, don't let nobody's heart fail because this guy is talking his mess. You, within yourself, have to spiritually talk to these entities and be like, listen, you ain't gonna move me. You're not gonna scare me. All these principalities, these spiritual wickednesses and high places, that's a stronghold. You have to talk to that. You can't just take it lying down. You have to oh, well, I'm gonna just turn the channel off. But it's still going on in your mind. Curious of what TV show, what Wendy Williams said that you're missing, what the novelas is doing on the novella show, right? Sancho messing with Sancha, right? You're still going on. That's still playing in your mind. You still see it some type of scenario, some type of TV show, some type of what's something that gets you, right?
Sports.
Who lost? Who lost just recently?
Well, basically, right
was it San Antonio in Golden State?
Yeah, Cavaliers actually beat San Antonio.
Cavaliers actually. See, that's what's going on in your mind instead of what? How do I conquer? How do I get stronger in the spirit? How do I get stronger in the faith?
Too much of it.
Right? This is what we're considering. This is what we're trying to cast down. These other imaginations, these other high things that exalt itself against the Most High, against the knowledge of the Scriptures, against the knowledge of wanting to teach my brother, of teaching my family, teaching my sister how to stop being a dyke, how to stop being a drug dealer, how to stop being a weed smoker, how to stop being a pedophile, how to stop being all these wicked, filthy things that this world keeps surrounding us. That's down in our mind, in the imagination. But this is how you got to talk to it. Continue.
Come. Thy servant will go and fight with the Philistine.
I'm gonna go. Listen, you know what? That dude who's bumping his gums, who's talking all this hot mess, I'm gonna go fight this guy. I'm gonna go take care of him. Go ahead.
Come, verse. And
you know what? This guy, from his youth up, he's been trained to war. This is a grown Apple man. This is a grown A man out there. This is a grown A man. You just a kid. You just a young shepherd boy. This is a grown Apple man right outside. And I don't know if you're ready. You can really deal with that type of individual. I don't know if you about that business.
You ain't about that life.
You ain't about that life, right? You ain't about that life, Bo. Right?
God.
That's what he was telling them. But he was
But you know what Saul was doing though? He was trying to put that doubt in David's head.
right, and that's what. And flip side, and that's where your grandma, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your uncle, your cousin, your brother, those who aren't in class with you, those who don't follow these scriptures like you do, that's that doubt. That's that imagination. That's that high power trying to exalt itself against the knowledge of the scriptures. So Saul's like, hey, you know what? No, you got it. Or no, you don't have it. You ain't about that life. Right? Go ahead. But what did he tell him?
Come, and the uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them.
Starting from the top, verse 36.
Come, 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 36.
Uh-huh.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear.
So he's giving a description about how he had two hardcore encounters. Listen, I dealt with a lion. I dealt with a bear. In the same way I dealt with that lion and that bear, this little ninja's gonna be one of the same.
Come.
Dead.
Right? Go ahead.
And the uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them.
This dirty, filthy man who blasphemes the name of the living power, his army, I'm going to destroy him the same fashion.
Come.
Was that it?
Seeing he had defiled the armies of the living God.
How did he defile that? How did we let these, now thinking about, we're talking about carnally, we're still talking about the scripture in 2 Corinthians. How did that man defile that? How did he defile the armies?
How do you defy the armies?
By what?
His word.
His words. Remember the words that I speak, they are spirit in their life, right? You entertain a bad thought, eventually what happens? You end up executing it, right? You thinking about that other man's woman and how big and how fat and how juicy that butt is, right? You're eventually gonna do what? Act that out. Try to go up, talk to her, try to commit adultery, right? You think about how that smell and that the aroma is so intoxicating every time you hear somebody, right? And then you hear the paper burning at the end of it. And then that first, right?
Take a swig.
Yeah, you take a swig, you like, man, all right. You motherfucker. You holding it one day, right? Because he's like, hey man, I gotta grab something. Hold this blunt for me real quick. And then you just looking at it, your mouth starts salivating, you start getting juicy mouthed in it, right? And he ain't looking. He's like, oh, did you want to hit that? Oh, you got it? Man, go ahead. You my boy. We brothers, we family. Right? You gotta take the extra hold in, you know, like, you trying to ghost it, right? Come on, these thoughts, these words become actions. You can't entertain that. That's how they're defiled. That's how it's defiance. You got a question?
I did, but I think you just answered it. You used the man and the woman as an example.
Right.
So in that case, you're already wrong because you thought about it. So
Right.
that applies to all this too. You're thinking about the negativity, so you've already given yourself away to it.
Right. And see,
Not necessarily. Remember, when we deal with Jeremiah 17:9, right? We find out that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, right? Out of the heart of man comes all these certain things, right?
right.
So we already know that Satan done put a lot of thoughts in our mind, right? It's how you act on them that make you off. All right. So it's not just because you're thinking it, right? It's how you act on it. It's just like when because people use that when Christ said about looking at a woman with lust, right? Okay, well they leave out the lust part and they act like just because you looked at the woman, you're off, right? No, what is lust? Lust is that uncontrollable urge to go deal with that woman. You see that? It's that I can't get her off my mind kind of thing. Where you just really thinking about every part of her and everything like that. That's the part that starts to control you. That's what he wanted you to do away with. There's plenty of times a man will look at a woman with admiration, right? Or even if it's another, you find out, oh, that's another man's wife, but yeah, you roll on. But it's the ones that they still looking when they already done seen the ring, or they still looking when they know she's married, or they still trying to holler at her. Now it's a lust. You understand? Now and then of course if you still trying to holler at her, then that's the action with it. You see that? So there's many thoughts in our brain, and not all of them are good. Like the scripture said, the grain of evil seed was sown in the heart, the mind of Adam, right? And how much wickedness has it brought forth to this time? Now you just sit there, you about to read your scriptures, and somebody, or you listening to your audio Bible in the car, right? Somebody cut you off in traffic, and you think of 13,000 ways instantly that they should be burned alive and rolled down a cliff, and their car explode, or they end up underwater somewhere trapped in their car, right? They're like, all hit you right like that. Why? Because your old man is still that murderous, lying, adulterous person. You see that? But do you act on that? Does a righteous person act on those things? See that? So no, the thought's not off, it's the action. Alright, but yeah, you are going to use the scriptures to even check your thoughts. Like, whoa, why would I even think that? That's crazy. That's not what the Most High would want me to think. Let me get rid of that thought so it doesn't come back. You see that? And even if it does though, because they do, you're gonna have to fight up against a lot of different thoughts, because those are just spirits. They're coming at you to tempt you. You understand? Were you gonna say something on that? Or?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
So where we at? Where you at, Ray?
1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 36.
1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 36.
Go ahead.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. Verse 37. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine.
So where he's telling you this in this instance, where is he relying? Who is he relying on? Where is he getting his strength from? Where is he getting his might from?
Deliver myself. That was his armor. Even when he put on Saul's armor, Saul said the armor hasn't even been tested yet. He's like, man, I don't care. I'm gonna go out here and do this because the Most High delivered me once. He gonna deliver me again. So David was always another attribute of David. He was always in the spirit. He was always referencing the Most High. Y'all understand that? Go back to go to Psalms 34 and 18. Just another precept for that. Psalms 51 and 17.
Psalms chapter 34 verse 18.
Say, calm when y'all get it. So
yeah, what you gotta see about that what we just read also is, how is David speaking? What kind of way is David speaking to?
Man.
Or
Courage.
Courage. What else? Where does courage come from? Faith. Exactly. See that? What else? What other attributes can y'all see in David just from his conversation?
No, fearless, no doubt.
Fearless, confident, right? What else?
Oh, I said confident.
Oh no, he's fearless, faith, right? Faithful. He was confident. You understand?
God.
He was sure that the Most High was with him. That comes from faith.
God.
So we got to be able to see these attributes in these brothers that we're reading about. All right? And this is the same mindset shared by his mighty men.
Come.
Right?
Come. Where we at?
Psalms chapter 34 and verse 17.
Psalms chapter 34 verse 17.
Verse 18. And this is to basically go along with the Psalms 51 and 17 that we brought out about David knowing it wasn't about the carnal. Even though he could do all these mighty carnal things, he understood what the Most High wanted spiritually. He understood the spiritual aspect of everything that he was doing. That he was there to do the will of the Most High, and he understood how to gain the favor of the Most High. Read that, Psalms 34 and 18.
Psalms chapter 34, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fit to say to a king, thou art wicked?
Is that it? No, that's not it.
Psalm chapter 34 and verse 18. The Lord is not
That's
that
it.
of a broken heart. David such as be of a contrite spirit.
Why do you think David knew the Most High was going to be there with him? And through everything, the Most High, what's up? So the Most High, so David knew that's what the Most High wanted. That broken spirit. He didn't want the carnal. That's why the Most High was so near to David. That's why he called him a man after his own heart. David basically gave himself up for the Most High. You see that? Somebody give me Romans 12 and 1. So in these characteristics, this is how we should be. This is how we should be looking at things. Because, and when we get further down, we're gonna understand that David was a mighty man. He had his mighty men. But guess what? We're also built in that fashion of being mighty men. It's certain things that we have to attain to understand. And that we have to do to get that mighty man status. To get that God status, right? Like the scriptures say, ye are gods, but you shall die like men. Because of simple things like this that we don't want to do.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
I beseech you therefore, brethren,
Mm-hmm.
by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Hey, you got to present your body a living sacrifice. You got to give up your mind. If side and know that you did wrong. These are the things that David did. These are the attributes that David held. So he was giving us a blueprint of this is how you attain. This is how you get to the status. If I'm me and I have 30 men like me, how come you can't do it? How come we can't do it? But we can. It's simple scriptures like Romans 12 and 1 that it's like, give myself up. I ain't doing that. But I'm gonna be a God. I'm gonna be like David. Nah, you ain't gonna be like David because you don't understand that it's not about just your physical body. It's about giving up your mind to the Most High so He can mold it. Colossians, what is it? Colossians 3 and 9?
3:9.
Somebody get that real quick. Where it's about changing. Right? Who got it?
Colossians chapter 3 verse 9.
Read that.
Lie not one to another.
Yeah, David didn't lie to himself. He didn't lie to anyone else. But most importantly, he didn't lie to himself and say, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it like this. I'm gonna just do it according to my mind." Read on.
Seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds.
Yeah, you gotta put off that. We gotta put off that old man with his deeds. The old man is like, I'm not trying to do anything with anybody. I'm not giving up anything. My mind, my body, I'm not going to present anything as a sacrifice. I ain't sacrificing nothing. Fast? The hell is that? I'm not fasting something up. We're supposed to be putting off that old man with his deeds so we could attain to what these mighty men were. So we could attain to this mighty man status. How many of y'all want to be able to bend bowls of steel? I mean, think about it. Guys can't even twist the cap off of a damn jelly jar half the time. You know what I'm saying?
Bust a grape
Bust a grape at a fruit fight. But they talking about
you can't humble down to the instruction, to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of what your husband's trying to show you, or what your elders trying to show you. But you want to be Sarah, you want to be Deborah, you want to be Samson, you want to be David, you want to be
Benaiah, you want to be all these.
You want to be all these great men, but you can't put off the old man, the weak nature. put off the former conversation of how you used to run things, how you so-called used to be a killer, how you used to be a drug dealer, dope dealer, a hustler, a hoe, whatever.
But these are the things that David understood. David had his moments when he wasn't the most righteous man, right? But did he hold on to that like, yeah, I banged his wife?
That pillow to feel, right? That's intimate stuff, right? She knows what laundry soap to use because it might, what not to use because it gives you a rash, right? That's intimate detail. He wants to know what's that well-pleasing thing that makes that's going to continue for me to be seen great in the eyes of the Most High. What's going to continue to have him have my back regardless? He knew his mercy lasts forever, but he doesn't want to take advantage of it. He wants to know what's that thing that's well pleasing. Because he respects him. He honors him. Go ahead.
And they that love him shall be filled with the law.
Those who love the Most High, they're filled with the law. That's what they're occupied in. During his long-awaited time to be appointed king, whether he was on the run from Saul or whether he was on the run from Absalom, right? That's all he meditated and he mused about. That's what kept him going. Go ahead.
Verse 17. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts.
So when you're like we were talking about in Colossians 3:9, casting off the old man, right? What are you doing in casting off the old man?
Anything that was unpleasing,
You're-
the Most High, you read.
Read the scripture again.
They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts.
What's that word again?
Prepare.
You're preparing. You're cleaning room. You're cleaning you're cleaning out a room and making space for something new. You're cleaning house to make something, make the whole house clean for new furniture. You're reupholstering the what is it? Remodeling the house. You're taking out all the old walls, all the old paint, floor, tiles, everything, and you're putting in everything new. You're making preparations. And as you're transitioning from a child to an adult to an adolescent, from an adolescent to an adult, into that manhood, into that womanhood, that's what you're doing. You're preparing, being filled with the law consistently. Precept upon precept, line upon line, wearing out the doorsteps of your elders. This is what you're doing. This is the path that's gonna make you mighty in the eyes of the Most High. This is gonna give you the connection to have all power. Go ahead.
And humble their souls
And
in
he
his
has to
sight.
what?
Humble their souls in his sight.
David showed himself to be humble in every situation he was placed in. When he messed up and he slept with the man's woman, when he slept with his man's woman, and that man died in the battlefront, the prophet came back and told him the Most High knew what you did. He didn't buck up against him. He humbled himself. When he told him the consequences of his actions, he didn't buck up there. Still got humble. Still maintained being humble. When he was younger, Saul coming after him, he didn't do anything wrong. Still didn't display a bit of pride. Right? That's what we have to do. These are attributes that show what a mighty man is. And as that leader is, so are his followers.
Even dealing with David's humility, because that's another attribute of David, his humility. We gotta look at the story think about when and we can go there. Go to Samuel, 1 Samuel 18:18. You can start at verse 17. But even when Saul was giving him his daughter, David was like, "Who am I? Like, I don't deserve this. What is my? What did I do to get this?" Like, he was just looking at it like, "I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing." He had that humility about him to not say, "Yeah, you owe me this. I killed all these Philistines. I'm killing all these nations. This is what I'm owed." Nah, he was like, "Who am I?" So he had humility. The scriptures say the Most High reject the proud, right? But give grace unto the humble, right? And Ray, find that. But read that. Read out 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 17.
1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 17. And Saul said to David, "Behold, my elder daughter, Merab, her will I give to thee to wife."
And so Saul was like, "Look, here goes my eldest daughter. I'm going to give you for her to be your wife." And we know that Saul was up to his little trickery. He was trying to get David caught up. But check out how David responded to the situation. Go ahead.
"Only be thou valiant for me, and fight the Lord's battles." For Saul said, "Let not mine hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him." And David said unto Saul, "Who am I?"
Yeah, David was like, "Man, who am I? I'm nobody." Himself of no reputation. He wasn't trying to take the title of mighty man. He wasn't trying to take the title of the fiercest killer in Israel, the dude in Israel, the most gangsterous Israelite. He didn't have an acronym about E to learn. There's brothers out there that say that. David wasn't saying, "Look, the only way you can learn how to kill is if you're standing next to me, or if you're one of my mighty men." He was like, "Who am I?" Go ahead.
"And what is my life?"
And what is my life? He was basically saying, "I'm nothing. What have I done in my life?" Go ahead.
"Or my father's family in Israel, that I should be son-in-law to the king."
Yeah, he was like, "Man, what have I done to be your son-in-law? What have I done to get this honor?" He was taking the low road. Go to 2 Samuel. Go to 2 Samuel 7 and 18. So we know that David had humility. Right? He had humility. He understood that things weren't just carnal. He understood that there was a spiritual aspect to everything that he was doing. Okay. 2 Samuel, where you at? 2 Samuel 7 and 18?
2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 18. Then went King David in and sat before the Lord, and he said, Who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house that thou hast brought me hitherto? And yet,
build his house, build a house for him, right? But David is like, who am I? Why me? He didn't say, oh yeah, I'm the master builder. I'm the best builder ever. I'm gonna do it. He took the low route. He took that humble route. What you got?
That pride.
What's that?
The beginning of pride.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. James chapter 4 verse 6.
You found it?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, go to James 4 and 6.
Because
this is one of the reasons why when David, this is how David got great.
James chapter 4 verse 6.
Go ahead.
But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he said, God resisteth the proud.
The Most High resists a prideful man. He resists the proud. So David understood, like, oh, okay, if I'm dealing with the Most High, and I'm a man after his own heart, I can't be prideful. I gotta have some humility about myself. Go ahead.
But giveth grace unto the humble.
Yeah, this was the grace that he gave to David. He gave David a lot of graces. He gave David a lot of grace. Saul was trying to murder him. Saul was trying to kill David, but the grace of the Most High was with David. And he had people looking out for him and letting them know, man, Saul's off. He's trying to get you. Because of David's humility from an early age.
So when you think about it, if you actually break it down, because we read the stories like it sounds like it's all back to back to back to back, right? He slew Goliath, and now all of a sudden he's being chased by Samuel. This is through
by Saul.
Or by Saul, I'm sorry, and then by Absalom. This is through a course of years.
Yeah.
We're not moving. One thing we gotta understand is that the Most High is not gonna move on our time. So if you're asking and you're praying, oh, increase me in humility, increase me in patience, increase me in humility, increase me in long suffering, right? You're going to be moving at the Most High's time. And he's going to see how bad are you going to be patient? How bad are you going to be humble? How long are you going to be long suffering? David was on the run from Saul for 8 years. Been in here for 8 years so far?
He was on the run. Think about this. He was on the run from Saul for 8 years, but he was promised the kingdom before he even slew Goliath. Right? Around 15. So he was like, okay, I'm going to get this kingdom. But he didn't get to the king. He didn't become king until he was 30. So think about that. He had to wait 15 years to get what was promised.
15 years.
And then he had to run for his life for 8 of those years just to stay alive to get what he was promised.
So around in his 20s, his early 20s, all the way till he was 30, he finally got the kingdom. But he was promised when he was 15.
So this is another attribute of David that even his mighty men possess. Faith, but most importantly, it was patience and long suffering.
Now see, he did that physically. And now, remember what we read in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, right? Our warfare is spiritual, right?
Come on.
He waited dang 15 years before he finally seen that blessing of being crowned king. We can't even wait, 2-3 months before you catch a wild hair up your butt and get all prideful? You get a couple of dollars in your pocket, can't nobody tell you nothing?
Nah, we set up prayers in the morning and act like the Most High is supposed to act on it that very same second.
Right.
Like by the time you pray again in the night, you're supposed to have whatever you ask for. Come on, man. We gotta stop. We gotta wake up and see that the Most High is looking for action. He's looking to see what are you gonna do in these times. When you ask for something, What are you gonna do when I put you through something? Are you just gonna wig out, or are you gonna hold and keep your integrity? You gonna be patient, long suffer?
Good. Anybody can yell out Barakatah, how about Shimmy Al Shah when they got a little note in their pocket, right? They got a little C note, they got a couple little scratch in their pocket. But can you still yell Barakatah how with the same spirit when you got 2 coins to rub together?
Think about this, man. Go to Ecclesiastes 2:14 real quick. Actually, go to Ecclesiastes 2:12. I'm sorry.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 12.
Because imagine if David was in this mind state. Imagine if David was, if he just was running from Saul and was like, man, I'm tired of this dude chasing me. I give up. I'm going to just go kill him. Right? Imagine if he was in the mindset of not being patient. Read that. Ecclesiastes 2:12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Woe be to fearful hearts.
Yeah, woe be to the fearful hearts. Go ahead.
And faint hands.
Go ahead.
And the sinner that goeth to ways.
Yeah, because David was like, listen, I'm going to follow the way of the Most High. I'm going to be patient through whatever the Most High is bringing me through. And I'm going to deal with it. He could have, there was plenty of instances in the scriptures where he could have killed Saul. Right? But what did he do? He didn't go the opposite way. He knew he couldn't touch the Most High's anointing. That would be a sin. But it said, woe be to the fearful heart. He knew that if he would have went and killed Saul, that would have been his downfall. So he held his patience. Go ahead, read verse 14.
Verse 14. Woe to you that have lost patience.
Yeah, destruction to you that have lost patience. He would have went and killed Saul. Who knows what would have happened? He wouldn't have became king. Because the people looked at David for his integrity. They looked at him for his long suffering, for his patience. But bringing it back, this is his mighty men. This is why he was able to surround himself with these mighty men that possess the same attributes. You see that?
God.
Where are you gonna go?
When you look up the definition of patience, right? It's defined as the capacity to accept or tolerate the delay of trouble or suffering.
So think about how long David was in trouble running from Saul. 8 years.
8 years, but 15 years before he finally got the crown. So you so close, but still yet so far. So you a 15-year-old, and then you get into your manhood. You go in your 20s, right? You thinking, okay, yeah, I'm good, right? You still gotta wait. You still gotta wait 8 more years, right? Check this out. So it said the capacity to accept or tolerate delay of troubles, suffering without getting angry or upset. You're maintaining your integrity. You're not letting these situations take you out of the spirit. Not here, not there, not in the box, not anywhere. Right? You're maintaining how you are in every situation, every outcome. You're staying positive. You're staying instant, in season, out of season. Your words are still of those of the uprightness. That's how David maintained his integrity. That's what makes you mighty, when you maintain your integrity, when you maintain your faith, when you maintain your humility, your patience. Whether you're suffering wrongfully, which nobody really is suffering wrongfully because we still deserve everything that the Most High gives us. When we think it's bad and it's really good, we got to maintain our faith. We still got to be mighty as a warrior, bold as a lion. You see that?
God.
Is that clear?
God.
All right. So another attribute that David had, as well as the mighty man, was order. He could slay all types of men, left and right, tens of thousands, leap great walls, bend bows and still, run really fast, right? But part with somebody who was over him, whether he was in the wrong or whether he was in the right, he maintained his order, which is another form of integrity. Give me Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6.
Wow. Ecclesiastes 10:1.
Yeah,
Ecclesiastes 10:1.
yeah, that's it. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 1. I'm tripping.
In the Apostle 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 1.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got it?
Come on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
So this man, he's going to instruct his followers, those who are following him. He's going to show them how to keep this order, how to do things right. How do we know? 1 Corinthians.
Any wars? You over here trying to fight the enemy, but you getting flanked from the left and there's nobody watching you? No, they had things set up strategically on the battlefield. But David was also the king, so he had the kingdom set up. He had it set up strategically the way it should be set up. He had order. That's another thing that the mighty men had to have to even gain their stature. They had to have order. They had to be able to follow. They had to be able to follow David around wherever he went. Right? Matter of fact, go to the story. Go to the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
check that out.
Because think about it, you gotta understand, like David was their captain, he was their leader. And he would shoot out orders. Boom. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. And they weren't just like, no, hell nah, we ain't doing that. They followed orders. This is one of the things that allow.
You're not sketchy. You're not wishy-washy. You're not tossed like a wave to and fro. But you're sure in the position that you're placed in. And you master it. Then you move up. Then you get placed over more responsibilities. You get more blessings. But we're at 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 16.
And I'm going to read this one more time, because this is, you got to look at this, Ecclesiastes 10 and 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his person. He's going to tell them
He used to get to the place he was.
seat and instruct his people. He's going to tell them, look, do this. Don't do that. Go over here and kill these people. Nah, don't deal with that war because we ain't ready yet. Nah, this is how you're going to build your house. You shouldn't have 50,000 kids right now because it ain't the time. We in war. Yeah, you can do that. No, don't do that. A wise judge is going to, but how is this judge wise also? What is he using? And we're going to go into that also, because we're going to see what really made the mighty men mighty. Was it the fact that they can do all these physical things?
Nah.
Right. But go to where you at? 2 Samuel?
Yeah, 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 16.
Who got it?
2 Samuel chapter 23 verse 16. And the three mighty men break through the...
Go up. Read up.
Start
Not
at,
16.
Start at 14.
Con, 2 Samuel chapter 23 verse 14. And David was then in a hole, and the garrison of the Philistines
That was 15. No, it was 14.
Come.
Go ahead.
And David was then in Hope, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem.
Go ahead.
And David longed and said, "Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." And the three break through the host of the Philistines.
So David at this point, he was thirsty, right? And he was like, man, I need something to drink. That water in Bethlehem. On themselves, Go ahead.
Come, the host of the Philistines, and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord.
Now, these men went all the way risk their necks and their lives for somebody, for the man that taught them how to war, that taught them the example of how to be humble, how to be chaste, how to be pure, how to be patient. He won the love of the congregation. They followed him in that same fashion, and they're showing you in this example right here, there's no limit to what they wanted to do for that type of individual.
You know, one thing you got to look at when you look at this story is he didn't have to command them to go get it.
Right.
He didn't have to force them and make them and push them and encourage them and give a hype session and do all kinds of craziness for them to go get him this water. All he was like, man, I wish I could have some water from over there. And these niggas went through a whole troop. These brothers went through a whole troop of Philistines. Y'all see that? And that's the thing is, as we desire to have these attributes of a mighty man, right, in the spirit, we have to be that type of person that, you know what, I'm going to take initiative.
Right.
I'm not going to be the one that has to be pushed and kicked and beat and pulled into a situation to try to better the people over me, my nation, my friends, my family. Y'all see that? No, I want to do this because that's what's needed. Y'all see that? And you know, some other why is what?
That's where he was from.
Who? Who was from Bethlehem?
Y'all know who was from Bethlehem?
I'm born in Bethlehem. Yeah.
Who?
House.
There you go. Right? Yahushua was from Bethlehem, right? And he was that. If you he who drinketh of this water will never thirst, right?
That's dope.
Right. And these men had to break through. This is how Bethlehem, the city, got taken and called Bethlehem. Remember, it was a city of the Philistines. Y'all see that? This is David, that prophet, speaking these things. Man, I want that spirit that's going to come from Bethlehem.
Damn, that's cold.
That's
Y'all see that?
Very nasty.
And these men thought it was a carnal thing.
Yeah.
Why did he pour the water out? These niggas just risk their lives. You just said it. They hazarded their lives to go get this water. Right? They're going to pour it on the ground. So he poured it out to the Most High. Why? Because because he wanted that spirit that was going to come from there. Like the scriptures say, what things the prophets desired to look into. He knew what was going to happen in that city. Him being a prophet. So we got to look at the deepness of these scriptures, man.
That's hot.
It only comes through much experience with the scriptures. It comes through much exposure to the scriptures. All right? Y'all gotta be studying, because that's how these revelations come to you day by day. You start putting the things together. It is beautiful every single day, man. Because that just came right now. I was like, whoa. You know, as soon as we were reading this, I was like, wait a minute. Bethlehem, dang. This cat desired the water from Bethlehem, but why did he pour it out? See that? Because he didn't want the physical water. He wanted the spiritual water that was going to come from Bethlehem. Alright. But yeah, we got to see the initiative that his men took. Alright? Just off a wish. Just off a... Yeah.
Man, I wish somebody would give me that.
Yeah.
Like, I some water.
Right? All he did was just sign that out under his breath, man. And Cats is like, okay, well, we're going to go over there. Was it three of them?
It was three of them.
Yeah, three of them. Not, hey, all 27 of y'all, man, come with us three.
Yeah.
Or else we can't do
We can't do it.
It was like, no, we got this. Three of us will take this. Because why? We have faith in the scriptures. One of us will put 10,000 to flight. Two of us will send the legion's fleet. They have faith and belief and confidence in those things.
Right.
You understand? That's how you got to approach every situation in your life. That's why they're bringing out these stories about these mighty men, so we can know, okay, you know your history, you know these forefathers, but remember Romans 15:4. The things that were written aforetime were written for your learning. You're supposed to learn from that and know how to attack your spiritual battle. How am I going to attack it? Am I going to attack it like a Christian? And then when something bad happens, I got Jesus, take the wheel. Or am I going to attack it like a mighty man? You'd be like, yeah, demons are coming. What did you expect? We going to whoop these demons up. Don't worry about it. See that? Yeah, today, man. This knucklehead nigga in my family brought the cops over to my door while we've been taking care of his mother, and he ain't been doing nothing for her. Right? And this dude came approaching me, and I had already told him on the phone. I said, don't come on my property, don't come on my doorstep. I said, I'm strongly advising you against that. And he thought because the 3 cops were there, I didn't meet him. He thought I was just talking tough on the phone. That dude came and started to walk on the grass, and he came too close to me. I said, you better get back. Right in front of all them cops. The cops was like, hey, whoa, they thought I was going to fight the dude. I said, I told y'all not to bring this nigga to my house. I checked the cops. I told y'all, I warned y'all, do not bring this dude to my house. They, well, he wasn't at your house. I said, well, he was about to get on my lawn. I don't want this. The major one, he had snapped his gun. And he thought that mattered to me. I'm like, that because I don't roll in that fear. That thought of David's thought of every time you see these brothers hitting that street, right? Every time you see them going out passing flyers, that's them putting their lives on the line, man. For what? For some brother to get off of drugs, for some sister to get off of prostitution and get out of the ways of this wicked society, man. But how do you attack that? Do you attack that with weakness? Do you attack that with fear? Nah, you gotta attack it like these mighty men attacked everything. Do you attack it where somebody gotta make you do it? Right? Like that movie Gladiator, man. I always remember that, and I'm like, when they're going out to the arena, there's the one dude that's sitting there chained to him, and he's pissing on himself. Yeah. They ain't even been in, right? The dude's looking at him like, he one of the first ones, man. They come in, pow, bash the first dude's head open, then they just stab him through, and the dude gotta cut the chain off him and keep fighting. Why? Because that fearful heart, man, is gonna get put to death right away.
That woe is destruction. If you get tired of waiting for the Most High and you decide to act up on your own will, or you get scared and scary in a pissy situation, guess what? Destruction.
Yeah, I gotta get this. Just along with that, Ephesians 3, verse 11 and 12.
Ephesians chapter 3, verse 11. According to the eternal purpose which he proposed in Yahushua, our Lord.
Go ahead.
In whom we have boldness.
So in Yahushua, we have what?
Boldness.
Fear.
Boldness.
I have effeminate tendencies. What did it say?
Boldness.
We have boldness. See that? We're not timid. We're bold. We're not fearful. We're bold. We're not faithless. We are bold. That's what these mighty men were, man. You got the other brother that held down the lentil field against the whole army, right? You got the other brother, we went through, he killed 2 lion-like men of Moab. You got the one where, hey, should I go kill the dude? Okay, yeah, go kill him. And he grabbed the dude off the horns of the altar, man. Mm-hmm. Snatched him down off the horns of the altar and slayed him right there. So you got these mighty men, they have boldness. But when you get in a situation where there's trouble, what happens? When you get in a situation where Satan's hitting you, and you know it's Satan, right? What happens?
Freeze up.
Oh, damn, you want to give up, you want to quit. Come on, man. They said one of these mighty men, the one that held down the lentil field, they had to pry the sword off his hand, man.
Yeah. Not his dead hand.
Yeah, they literally had to remove his hand from the sword.
So his hand was faint, and they still had to pull his hand from the sword. When you read it.
Y'all see that? Y'all got it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we got to understand this, man. What kind of mentality do we have approaching a sin, approaching a temptation, approaching a test, a trial? And what kind of mind state do these men have?
Well, and one of the mind states, too, was the fact that they didn't just sit around and wait for something to happen. They were like with the water. They didn't like, damn, he wants some water. They all sat there and thought about it like, I wonder who's gonna get that. Nah, you go ahead, Ari, I'll get that. No, you go get that. No, nah, they jumped up. They just did it.
All three.
Boom, one mind state. Go to
Hold on, read on.
I'm sorry.
Read the rest of that.
I'm sorry.
Read it again. Read that verse 11 again.
Come. According to the eternal purpose.
Verse 12. I'm sorry. Verse 12.
Oh, come. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 12. Salah. In whom we have boldness and access with confidence by the faith of Him.
See, we have boldness and access with confidence. See that? See, that's the thing. Is a lot of people they don't. You know, you got these cats. I'm watching them online. You hear about them all the time. I don't believe in Christ and all that. Why? Because you don't have no access to Him. You never access that power. You see that? You never tried and attempted to access that power that's in that name. You going off of what you think as a, what is that? Not theoretically. What are those people? Theology, right? You're going off of your theology knowledge, right? You're going off of how academic you are. You're not going off of any experience where you actually tried to use that name. You see that? That's why you talking like that, because you don't use it. You haven't experienced it. But we that are confident and use this name, right? We know we have access. That's where our confidence is. It's like, should I know at any time that if I call on the name of Christ, this situation is done. You understand? That's the confidence that gotta form in you, that you constantly and consistently have access to Christ. You have access to that power that He gave you. He said that in whom we have boldness and access with confidence. By what? By the faith of Him. By believing in Christ. If you believe and you approach every situation as if He's with you, can't have to come against you.
Like David did.
Right.
And like how you taught the mighty man. Because even David believed in Christ. That's the thing. Even David believed in Christ. People try to say that David didn't believe in Christ, or there was no Christ, or the Old Testament don't talk about Christ. Even David had this access. His mighty men had this access. So they knew that whatever they were performing it in the name of the Most High. Whatever they performed to David, they were performing to Christ, to the Most High. They had that order, that structure. Where were you at in that Samuel? And it's like Priest Balaam said, they didn't have to be forced. When it came to the water, they didn't have to be forced. David didn't have to bark out orders like, I order and command y'all to go get me some water. He just mentioned it. And they got up. And they went and they did it. Because they were in a certain mind state. What you looking for? Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 11. This is the way they were thinking.
2 Corinthians chapter 8 verse 11.
Instead of just having problems in front of them and just trying to make the problems obsolete by just blowing them off, like how some of us do. We got problems and issues, and what do? We get drunk, we get high, we try to act like the problems ain't there. We got all the scriptures in the world.
Ostrich syndrome.
Yeah, you duck your head in the sand and think that the demon's gonna go away. We got all the scriptures in the world to fight this spiritual warfare that we're in. David and his mighty men, they had all the carnal attributes to fight.
Doing of it.
They performed the doing of things. They just did things in the spirit. They didn't sit back and wait. Oh no, you go ahead and do it. It's your turn. Man, it's my day off. It's 30 of us, so we gotta be on rotation, right? We gotta, like, what's the schedule? You know, they were like, look, I'm up. They were always ready. The will in them was always ready to go, no matter what. If it's about, I'm about to go kill 3,000 Philistines for a cup of water, let's do it.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Cass was ready. This is how you become mighty. You got to be ready for the war.
And it's in the smallest things now, because that was how much that was back then. That was back then for carnally, but now how much more is it just spiritually?
In the smallest things, because even the track, where we got to be, you got to perform the doing of the scriptures. You got to apply. You got to apply the things that you learn. That's the doing of it. So even David and his men, they were always in the spirit, not just, oh, we know the Most High. And no, they were not worshiping in word and in tongue, but they were in the deed and in truth part of it. Faith without works is dead. You see that?
Come.
Go ahead.
Come. So there may be a performance also out of that which ye have.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. For if there be first a willing mind.
Yeah, they had willing minds. You gotta be a willing man. David couldn't force these cats to follow him to go kill. How do you force another man to kill 300 men? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. That dude's gonna kill his first guy and just be out for the count. Like, man, I can't do this. But they had to be willing. They had to be willing warriors. They had to be willing to know that if they followed the orders of David, David's orders were coming from Christ the Most High. If they followed the path and the order of David, that they would never fail. They would never lose in battle. They had to have that willing mind. Go ahead.
Come. For if there be first a willing mind, it is accepted according to that a man hath, and not according to he had not.
Yeah, they never looked at what they didn't have. They always said, look, we about to go do it. They didn't look at the fact that there was a whole troop of Philistines in between them and some water and say, damn, it's only 3 of us.
Right.
It's thousands of them. We can't do it. We ain't got enough guns.
Or even when you come in to be an initial soldier, a trooper, right? You don't. It's not contingent on what you bring in, but that you have a willing mind when you come in, and you build on, and the Most High builds on you from there. As long as you got good, profitable soil that's good enough to be planted on, the Most High is working with you. As long as you got that open, that broken and contrite mind, which is basically an empty vessel, so He can pour something in you, His knowledge, His wisdom, and His understanding, that's what's accepted. That willing mind to receive the water of the Most High.
It's like when the scriptures talk about a man being like a baby. Why? Because now he can receive the things that he needs. A baby ain't gonna reject the food that he needs. A baby's like, yeah, feed me. Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me until I'm fat and thick and plump and healthy. Just feed me. A baby ain't rejecting no food. So this was the mind that they were in. They had that willing mind. These mighty men. You want to be a mighty man, you have to have a willing mind. You got to be proactive. Yeah, not reactive. They weren't reactive. They were proactive.
Or contrary.
They were. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Hey, but on that, go to 2 Timothy 2:2. Because with that willing mind, more attributes got to be picked up. Again, we're talking about this order, right? So we're talking about this order, this structure, this structural system that David developed that's within all of us. Christ said we can do what he did and more. But there has to be a willing mind. We can be mighty men, mighty women, but we got to gird up our loins like men.
You got to gird up the loins of your mind.
Where we at?
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2.
Go ahead.
And the things that thou hast heard of me
So the same things that the men have heard of David, right? Go ahead.
Among many witnesses.
Among many witnesses. Come on, you got to remember they made songs about how David was in battle. David slew his tens of thousands, Saul his thousands. You see that? So
the same commit thou to faithful men.
they became the mighty men because they were what?
Commit thou to faithful men.
He committed what he had, what was instilled into him, into those men, and they became faithful men.
They were already faithful. That's why he was able to hand it down.
Exactly.
It says, commit thou unto faithful men. So they were already faithful men just in the little things that they were doing and following David. And then he said, look, I'm going to show y'all how to kill your hundreds and your thousands. I'm going to show you how to kill bears and lions and men that look like lions and lion-like men. I'm going to show you how to just battle and battle until we got to pry the sword out of your hand.
Right.
I'm going to show you these things.
That battle we were talking about, we keep referencing to. Give me 2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 10. Just
And then, yeah.
2 Samuel chapter 23 verse 10.
chapter 23 and verse.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, read that.
Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 10. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary.
Read up. Let's get a little bit more context so we can understand what we're reading.
Start at verse 8.
Verse 8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had.
Go ahead.
The Tachmonite that sat in the seat. Chief among the captains. The same was Adino, the Eznite. He lifted up his spear against 800, who he slew at one time.
Yeah, I gotta really think about this. This dude killed 800 men in one go. He didn't say, look, I need a timeout, I need a Gatorade break, I need to chill for a minute, y'all jumping me. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, damn, y'all gonna jump me. He killed 800 men with a spear? With a spear. Y'all ever watch like movies like Troy? Y'all ever seen the movie Troy?
Come on.
Where he was just running through. You never seen Troy? Bro, you gotta watch that movie.
Clips of it. Remember I showed you that Troy?
Oh, yeah.
Achilles?
Bro, y'all gotta watch that movie.
How he just came through, he put back the shield, he was just,
Bruh, he was running through armies. And this is their depiction of this great man. Imagine what these cats were doing, running through 800 men with a spear.
You see the way he threw that javelin, right? Yeah. Same fashion. You seen 300, right? Everybody seen 300, right?
That was us. That was Israel. Those were mighty men. They ain't gonna depict it as us, but that was us. But just imagine, just put yourself in that mind state. You got a spear, and you killing 800 men in one go. Man, he was probably throwing that thing so hard he was throwing through cats. I could just imagine it. One throw, it just hit 10 cats. It's crazy, man. I mean, what I'm doing, I'm taking all these movies, and I'm like, okay, the movies can't depict actually what happened. So we were greater than what the movies show. So let's try to imagine like the speed, the accuracy, the things this dude was doing. He was probably on the battlefield clowning. Like, damn, yeah, I got you. Yep, bam, got you. He was probably going crazy, man.
No, the best depiction would probably be the what is that, Dynasty Warriors from PlayStation, where you're this like this big guy on the battlefield, and with the swipe of your sword, you kill like hundreds of people with one swipe.
Yeah,
that's like the best depiction. They try to animate it to make you think it's not real, to make you think it's not achievable. But this guy killed 800 men with the stroke of a spear. Go ahead.
Read verse 9.
Verse 9. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, one of the three mighty men with David. When David found the Philistines, they were gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary.
He did what?
He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary.
Yeah, man, he was hitting these cats with his sword until his hand was tired. till his hand was weary. Go ahead.
And his hand clave unto the sword.
His hand was stuck on the sword. The grip was so tight. He had to pry his hands off the sword, man. Cause
they do that with when you deal with pit bulls, man.
Yeah,
they get
yeah.
Lock
they
job,
lock
man.
on.
And you can't even though the dog is tired.
Yeah,
his jaw done locked onto onto whatever he's on. You know, and that's the thing. That's what you're dealing with this man is he was fighting so hard just for this field.
Yep.
Y'all see that? But what will you fight for? All he was fighting for was some basically it's half a pea. That's what a lentil is. If you don't know what a lentil is, if you never ate lentils, it's basically like a pea split in half.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So you got to eat a whole bunch of those just to even get anything that you would get from like a bowl of peas. All right. It's almost the same taste, but the dude fought for a lentil field against a whole army of Philistines. But what do you quit for? See that? What are the things we quit for? Oh, the bills are coming in. I don't know if I have enough money. I'm done with the truth. Like, what? You have bills every month. You had bills in the world. How is it making you leave the truth? My girl's fussing at me again. I can't be around you. I gotta deal with her. Why? Why are you giving up the truth and the promises and the blessings for that? This man fought for a lentil field. Y'all see that? For a bunch of damn half of beans.
To the point where his hand clave to his weapon, man. Y'all understand that? Y'all see and that shows his focus. That shows his focus. That's another attribute of David. Focus. He focused on his task and made tasks until it was complete. So we got all these attributes. We got all these stories, right? So, Locker Rob, in your opinion, what really made the mighty men mighty? What was it?
Their faith in the Most High.
Their faith in the Most High, right? Their patience. But what was it that gave them this? What was the real thing that they had above everything, above all attributes? What makes one a mighty man, even in this day? What's that?
The spirit of God.
But what aspect of the spirit? But there's different. It says the spirit is manifold, right? So there's different aspects of the spirit. But what's the main thing? What's the credo?
Humility.
What's the Israelite credo? What do we live by? What else? You close. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. This is what made these men mighty, above all. And this is how we know that we can attain to this mighty man's stature. Am I saying that you're going to tomorrow bend balls of steel? Am I saying you're going to be leaping the tallest building in one bound? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you're going to be able to fight your battles. You're going to be able to defeat whatever spirits you have that are contrary to the Most High. You're going to be able to defeat these things.
God.
Right?
God.
Where you at?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 17.
Go ahead.
God.
Y'all got it?
God.
Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 17. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
They desire discipline. This is the beginning of her. Actually, jump up so we can know what her is. It's Wisdom of Solomon 6 and
verse 12.
Go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away.
So we're talking about wisdom. These men moved in wisdom. David had wisdom. He was a wise king. He was a wise man. The main attribute that he handed down to his mighty men. They all moved in wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Together as a unit. In faith, in humility, in patience. Read that where you at again. Verse 17.
Verse 17. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline.
Go ahead.
And the care of discipline is love.
Right. They all love one another. David had love for the people. David had love for his men. Because they cared for that discipline. They cared for that wisdom. They understood, okay, if we're going to defeat these Philistines, we got to be disciplined about this. We can't just run into battle like chickens with our head cut off. We can't just run into battle and you don't have your position down. You don't have your position down. We got to have it set up to where there's order and structure. They understood this. They had to have discipline. You ever watch some war movies? You ever watch like, what was the last movie I watched? Man, but you watch these war movies where it's like, don't lose your rank. Don't never lose your rank. Hold the line. You ever hear them say that? Hold the line? Because if you don't hold the line, you can get flanked on the left or flanked on the right. You got to hold the line. Maintain your integrity on that battlefield. These men had discipline. But they were using the wisdom of the Most High. Go ahead.
God, verse 18. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 18. And love is the keeper of her laws.
It's the what?
It's the keeper of her laws.
They kept the law. David kept the law. David kept the law of the Most High. He knew that through keeping the law and the commandments, the Most High was going to be dealing with him. Go ahead.
And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption.
It's the what?
It's the assurance of incorruption.
This is how David ensured that his men. This is how David ensured that his men wouldn't be corrupted up until a point, and now how he wouldn't be corrupted. This is how he ensured that on the battlefield these men weren't corrupt. There was laws in war. We had laws in war. We had laws in war. So David understood through wisdom, through patience, through discipline. This is how I was going to build these men. This is what we have to understand. A lot of us don't. You know why we can't get the wisdom? Because we don't want to go through the disciplinary process. It's like you want to get the muscles. Everybody want to get a big chest, right? I want a big chest. But nobody wants to go through the push-ups. Nobody wants to discipline themselves to do the one. What we got? 150 a day? We did like a little health, what is it? We do like a little health, for our health, the men in the camp. We do a thing for our health where we do 150 push-ups a day. And we increase it every week. Well, how you going to get that big chest if you don't do your push-ups? Quatazat? I've been slacking, I ain't gonna lie. But how you going? But that's the discipline. You got to have that discipline. You got to discipline yourself to say, okay, this is what I want to attain. This is what I got to do. I got to go through the pain.
And so, what begets that discipline? Go to Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17. I'm sorry.
Before you hit that, go to read verse 19 and where you at.
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
And incorruption maketh us near unto God.
This is how we get near to the Most High, man. This is why David was called a man after the Most High's heart. Because he knew discipline brought love. Love meant keeping of the laws. And keeping of the law meant incorruption. And incorruption, the Most High, is nigh to them that feareth him. Right?
God.
The Most High is nigh to them of a broken spirit and contrite mind. So David knew if I stayed humble, he give more grace to the humble. He reject the proud. So David knew if I stay humble, if I teach these cats wisdom, the knowledge and understanding of the Most High, if we move around in that, if we battle in that, and then give the glory to the Most High, man, we defeat anything. Carnally, we'll defeat anything. Spiritually, right?
Come.
Where you at? Where did he tell you to go?
Proverbs
chapter 27, verse 17.
Y'all got it?
Done?
God.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17. Iron sharpened iron.
Iron sharpens what?
Iron. A man sharpeneth the countenance.
Read it from the top.
God. Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17.
God.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Two together. At least they agree, right?
God.
That's iron sharpening iron right there. I'm going to strengthen you by being the example, by bearing the infirmities of the weak and making the path right for you so you can do that for the next man. This iron that I'm going to sharpen you with is the same iron that sharpened me.
It's that discipline.
It's that
It's that love.
It's the love, the characteristics of the things that make you mighty. These are the things that are going to get you win you the love of the Most High. That makes the Most High draw near to you. Why? Because where is your strength? Where is your source of power coming from in the first place?
Most High.
Hold that. Give me Psalms chapter 28 and verse 7.
And see, and David knew this the whole time. As a kid, he knew this.
Yeah. You couldn't tell him any wrong. You couldn't tell him this wasn't true.
God.
Con?
God.
Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 28 and verse 7. The Lord is my strength.
The Lord is what?
My strength.
He said these rocks are my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
He said this armor is my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
These men are my strength.
Is my strength.
My hands is my strength.
He said my slingshot was my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
My woman's my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
My mama's my strength.
The Lord is my
My
strength.
daddy's my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
My grandmama my strength.
The Lord is my strength.
He said the Lord is my strength. Hold that. Proverbs 3 and 6. He said the Lord is his strength.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6.
Con.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
This is what he understood as a child. In everything he did, when he went to face the lion, when he went to face the bear, when he went to fight Goliath, every single time, David died at the age of 70. So he was that's pretty old, right? David been in numerous amounts of fights, not one broken bone. Every time he went into battle, what did he do? Read Proverbs again.
Verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him.
He acknowledged the Most High in all his ways. Every single battle, when you read about David going into battle, he went to the Most High, asked permission. He acknowledged the Most High in his battles, in his victories, on his run from Saul, on his run from his son. In all his ways, he acknowledged the Most High. Why? Read where you're at, sir.
And my shield.
From the top, sir.
The Lord is my strength.
So in all his ways, he acknowledged the Most High. Why? Because the Lord is his strength. He is his shield, his buckler. A buckler is an arm, it's a side shield that's no bigger, it's a little bit bigger than your forearm. It's not a full shield, right? But a buckler, it's a small enough shield to hold on your arm and you can still wield the weapon. Right?
God.
So the Most High is his buckler, it's his shield. Right? What else? Continue.
My heart trusted in him.
His heart what?
Trusted in him.
His mind what?
Trusted in him.
His hands what?
Trusted in him.
His body what?
Trusted in him.
His desires what?
In the Lord.
In the what?
The Lord.
In the what?
The Lord.
Class?
The Lord.
In the what?
The Lord.
In the Most High. In all your ways, you're supposed to acknowledge him. Right?
God.
Go back to Psalms chapter 27 and verse 17.
Psalms
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
So this type of iron, this type of will, this type of hard, seared metal that minded individual that he had since he was 15 till he was grown, that he continued to have until his death, this type of iron is going to sharpen you. This is the type of mind you have to pay. Right?
God.
Go give me Psalms chapter 51 and verse 6.
Psalms chapter 51, verse 6.
Because again, these are all characteristics of what's going to make you that same mighty man. These are what created that mighty man. These are what's going to create you as a mighty man, as a mighty woman. Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 51 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
Behold, thou desirest truth in thine inward part.
The Most High desires truth in the inward parts. We're putting away the line. We're putting away this false image that we project ourselves to. And the hidden parts, that secret man, that secret woman that you talk to when nobody else is around, when you're alone in your most intimate thoughts. What does the Most High require? Go ahead.
Thou shalt make me to know wisdom.
He wants you to know wisdom. He's going to make you to know wisdom. Why? Because because you're understanding that's who your strength is. That's where your power lies. And in order to have those type of powers, that type of might, to conquer these spiritual strongholds that we have upon us daily, you have to know wisdom.
The wisdom should be in us. That was the thing with David was the wisdom was in David. The spirit was on David. When it talks about us becoming mighty men, this is what we should be trying to attain to. Go to 1 Peter 3 and 4. Somebody else get me Jeremiah chapter. Give me 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 4.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 4.
4. And Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 33.
God. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 4.
Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
Yeah, it should be the hidden man of the heart, from your heart. Go ahead.
And that which is not corruptible.
Right. This is what makes us not corruptible. You keeping those laws, but they should be in your mind, mighty in the spirit. It should be that hidden man. It doesn't matter. You got your fringes on, big beard, got your hair all nice and done up, makeup all great. That's not what it was about. David wasn't about, I bent 10 bows of steel and killed 1 million people. That's not what David was about. David was about that inward man, that hidden man of the heart. Y'all see that? Go ahead. That was not corruptible. Go ahead.
Even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
Jeremiah 33.
Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
See, this is what we should be trying to attain to. No matter what, even though the Most High said he's going to make the covenant, you still got to work for it. You still got to do some work to get to this level. And this is what we should be trying to attain to as mighty men and mighty women. This is what we should be trying to level up to. Go ahead.
Come, after those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts.
He's going to put the law in our inward parts. This is what we want to get to. This was the level that David was on. David didn't have to run back to those scriptures every time he was doing something. He had to run back to let me check what the law says. Let me go back to Leviticus real quick. Wasn't doing that because it was already in him. It was in him to be righteous. It was in him to be a man after the Most High's heart, because he was doing the things that the Most High wanted. He was displaying all the attributes of a righteous man and passing that down to his men. Finish up where you at.
Come and write it in their hearts and will be their God.
Right. It was written in David's mind. The Most High, the ways of the Most High, all the forefathers before David, it was written in his brain. He knew how to deal with. He knew how to deal with. He knew how to deal with anything that came up against him. He knew how to deal with his men. He knew how to deal because it was written in him. And these are the things that, like I keep saying, this is what we want to attain to as far as trying to become mighty men. Am I saying you're going, like I said, are you going to be bending bows of steel tomorrow? Probably not. What you talk about was David in carnality. Blessed the Most High that what is it? Psalms 144 and 1. Blessed the Most High that teaches my hands to war.
44 and 1, yeah.
That's a carnal thing. You fight with your hands.
My mind to war.
No, I can't add to it. But you see that? But how does the Most High teach our mind to war? He shows us that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. This is how we learn how to war. we got to understand those principles first.
Well, check this out, because the second precept is he made my well, let's grab it because we're quoting.
Psalm 144:1.
Psalm chapter 144 verse 1.
Go ahead.
Blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war.
Go ahead.
And my fingers to fight.
And my fingers to fight, right? So, and we understand the precepts too in the New Testament, that your hands, when it talks about doing things with your hands, you're putting in work, right? What's well pleasing to the Most High. Sometimes you have to get grimy to do it, which means you have to get up off your lazy butt, basically, and get your way to class to find out what's pleasing to the Most High.
You got to perform the doing of it, like the scriptures say.
Put in that work.
Be ye not doers of the word. Be ye not hearers of the word only, but doers. Faith without works is dead. What else we got? All right, well, listen, we want to thank y'all for joining us. We're going to end it right there. That was a beautiful class, man. I like that one. Cool. But yeah, we're going to end it right there. If y'all got any questions, hold those until Friday, and we'll get to those Friday. We apologize for the difficulties on the stream. But yeah, if you got questions, hold those till Friday. We definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And I guess we'll see y'all on Friday. All right, so say shalom.
Shalom.
I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets, understand with a wake-up call and give them understanding of what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing, but not facing the facts that as a nation, we all done got lax and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans, they sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Working hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we was some soldiers, but every second that I look, we getting creamed like Folgers. You see, the Lord done told us. So to me, there's no surprise on why they fold us. It's not cause our skin is dark and they don't know us. It's cause we stuck on that crack.